Did you get in your Jeep today, start it up, and you were just about to leave to go do your, whatever you were going to do, I guess, and then this comes up? Yeah, happened to me too. So obviously that means we got to change the oil. So let's do that today, and I'll show you how. It's easy. You can do it yourself. So here's a Jeep you're going to be working on today. It's a 2011 Jeep Patriot with a 2.4 liter. It's got a 5-speed in it. It doesn't mean anything for changing the oil, but just wanted to point that out. Got our filter here. It's a K&N. I actually just wanted the good old Wix brand, but they were out of it at my local O'Reilly's Auto Parts. But they said, well, we'll give you the K&N for the same price as the Wix. So I'm like, well, that's a pretty gosh darn good deal to me. So if you're going to get a K&N, part number for that filter is HP 1017. So we got that. And your 2.4 liter takes 5W20 weight oil. Mobil 1, good old fashioned, middle of the road brand. And this thing, I think it takes 4 quarts. I'll have to double check on that. I'll let you know. But what I like to do is I like to measure it out. Get that out of the way. How are you supposed to measure when you got freaking stickers in the way? Anyway, so we're gonna measure it out on this, and it's got a little check valve open thing. You can get this at your old OOO store as well. So we'll be able to precisely measure out 4 quarts of oil. And of course we'll add we can't really subtract. We'll add more if we need to. So we'll start at 4, and we'll see where that gets us. So obviously the first thing we gotta do is pop the hood, and then well, I'll tell you what. That just seems flimsy. Anyway, we're gonna pop the hood, but one thing you should always check: make sure that you have enough oil to begin with. A lot of times I'm guilty of this too. I just drive my car and drive it. Never think about checking the oil. But the best time to do that, then, if you're ever at least going to do it once, is before you do your oil change. Just see if you're losing any oil. Pop the hood, check it, pull the dipstick. Are you full, or are you not? I don't know. That's for your car, but I want to check on this one. We'll see where I'm at, and we'll just see how it's been doing. I mean, I bought this car 5 months ago. I never changed the oil. The oil actually looked pretty good, so that's why I didn't bother with it. So, but now it's time, because I got the little dash light thingamajiggy lighting up saying change oil. So must be time to change the oil, I guess. So we'll have to clear that too when we're done. But anyway, like I said, the first thing to do is pop the hood. Let's check the oil, and after that, I'm gonna get some ramps, and we're gonna drive the car up on the ramps, and we'll get this stuff drained. So let's get going. Alright, so if you've never opened your hood before, which kind of happens nowadays, some people just pretend that this stuff never exists, but hey, that's okay. When you pop your hood inside the car, there's a little lever right here. You just turn that, or flick it to the left, and pull up on your hood, and she'll fly right open. Who is it? Poor little Bumblebee, he didn't make it. But anyway, So here's where you check your oil right here, and this is where you add the oil. So first thing we're going to do is, oh, I'm getting stung, ouch. Anyway, first thing we're going to do is check the oil. So I made sure to find the dirtiest rag used. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So the first thing you do is you never trust what's on there right now. The very first pull, never trust it. Just wipe it off right away because the engine's moving around, sloshing oil. So we're gonna completely miss the hole and drive it right into the dirt. So if you do that, wipe it off. Make sure you get it in the hole. Trust me, it's better that way. All right, now this will be the reading we're gonna try and take. And it is a little low. Let's see if you can see that. Can you see that? Here's the safe right here, and we're right there. So, should have been adding oil, but we're not that bad. So that's probably about a quart low. The general rule of thumb is this area right here is about 1 quart. So since we're down here, if I would have added a quart, we would have been in the very top of the safe zone. So we're a little low, so I'll have to keep that in mind and make sure I check this a little bit more often. I'm also gonna have a little memorial for this poor little bumbler guy. Poor little guy didn't make her. So the next thing we gotta do is jack the Jeep up, and I got these good old-fashioned vehicle ramps that you can get at any old store. So literally put them right in front of the wheels. You want to jack up. It's pretty straightforward. Now we'll start the car up and drive up. It helps if you let the clutch out properly. All right, so I got my kneeling pad under here and oil catch pan, which again you can get at your local store. I don't know which wrench I'm gonna need, so I pretty much brought the whole toolbox. All right, so as we get under here now, all right, I'll get you in the rotation you can actually see. All right, so there's the back of the car, and as we look up here, so this transmission may look different than what you have because I've got a stick shift vehicle. Ugh, STP. Ugh, man. I'm glad I'm changing this. Anyway, so here's your oil pan. Now this will be the same for whatever the heck you're working on. Whatever 2.4 liter you got, this will be the pan. So if you have a Patriot, you got a caliper, you got a whatever the heck has a 2.4 in it. Here's your oil pan, and all you got to look for is the drain plug, which there's only going to be one drain plug right there. Man, there are some crows. Man, they are really crowing about something over there. Anyway, so what we got to do is take this guy out of here, and that literally just drains the oil. And I'm going to guess that looks like a 13 mil. I think I brought that. And it's on there, but it's kind of loose. I wonder if it's actually a half. Well, the half fits a lot better, so that is a 1/2 inch. I'm gonna go with that. I would have thought metric, but the half seems to fit better. Oh, okay, that's on there pretty good. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm gonna have to get the persuasion tool. I'll be right back. Okay, listen, fellas. There is no freaking way it needs to be that gosh darn tight. That, you can't even joke about that. That's just terrible. I ended up taking some good swings at it with my hammer and actually like stripped this thing. So my ratchet is actually stripped, it's broke. But luckily a 1/2 inch and 13 are pretty similar. So I put the 1/2 inch on there, or excuse me, the 13. And I took a couple of swings at this with a hammer, and I finally got this broken loose. There's just absolutely no way it needs to be that tight. This is not the time to practice Guten tight German torque specs, okay? We're in the world of Chinesium. Everything is just a little bit. Because otherwise it breaks. And I'm glad this didn't break. So anyway, whew, I think I got it finger loose now. Somewhat. So we're just gonna spin that out of there, and I got the catch can right here. And just get your finger out of the way because it's gonna start coming out. Yowza. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's been used a little bit. A little black. Still got quite a bit of lubricity. It definitely wasn't bad. So we're gonna let this drain. This will probably take, you know, I'll give it about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna go inside and make a snack and have a cold snack. And we'll come back and, geez, we'll see how this is going. All right, we're at just a slow drip now. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my drain plug. I'm just going to wipe it off. I'm going to wipe around here because you can see here there's some dirt. And never a good thing to have dirt on there, and especially when you're trying to have a nice clean mating surface so this doesn't leak. So I'm going to clean that up, and then I'm going to put the drain plug back in and not over tighten it because that's just not cool. Nice and snug. Okay, just like we're working on Chinesium, not germanium. All right, now that that's on, turning our attention towards the oil filter. You want to take this off and put your drain pan below it because there's going to be some oil up in there, and this is at a upside down angle, so there's going to be oil inside there as well. So this should be able to come off with just your hand strength. You definitely, again, when you're putting this back on here, you don't want to go too Hercules on it. It doesn't need to be that gosh darn tight. And I'm kind of worried since okay, this one's actually spinning. Just because the frickin' drain plug was so tight, I was worried this was going to be on. Some Hercules guy put this on. So, I got my pan positioned directly below it. So I'm anticipating a good waterfall. There it comes, and I'm missing. There we go. I'm gonna get a little bit of a mess on my hand, but that's okay. Now, how many threads are there? Jeez. Okay, there we go, and then I'll just dump that out. There we go. And one thing to check is to make sure you got your, there's a rubber gasket on here, and sometimes those get stuck. They get left behind right here. And what will happen is when you go to put your new filter on, you'll end up having two gaskets there, and it will leak. It will leak a lot. So, wiping my hand off, I'm going to get out the new filter. Like I said, I usually just run Wix because Wix is absolutely the best brand and product for the money. But they were out of wicks, like I said, so they had K&N and gave me the same price as a Wix, so that's a gosh darn win if I ever saw one. So anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to take your pointer finger and on your old filter, just get your finger full of oil, right? And you want to lubricate your new O-ring on your new filter. Just do that until you have it all nice and lubed up. And I'm doing this with one hand because I'm trying to get you guys in here too. Doesn't have to be, you know, gloop, gloop, gloop down there. Some guys I know even fill this up with oil, but it'll get full of oil when we dump it in. Okay. And I'm going to lube the threads up as well. Okay. Alright, that's pretty good. And then we're just going to stick it on there and screw it back in. There we go. All right, next thing we're going to do is get our oil ready. Open it up. Just punch through the seal with whatever you got. I prefer not to have any of these metal looking things dump into my oil. That should be all right. Okay, so we got this measuring thing here. This is how I like to get a little bit more precise measuring when I add oil to my cars, especially when, you know, you got more oil than what your car takes. So this is a 5-quart jug, and our little Patriot here, the 2.4, only takes 4 quarts. So whatever you're working on, I don't know if all 2.4s are similar across the board, so you want to make sure that you look up what's specific to your car, but I know mine takes 4, so that's what it's getting. And this guy here measures 1 quart at a time, so I'm going to do it 4 times. Fill her up, and then right down here is on-off, so if I flip this counterclockwise, it lets all the oil out, and if I turn it clockwise, it closes it up. So I'll fill it up, put it over where it needs to go, and open the valve, and there we go. So right here is where the oil goes in, so you just flip it to the left, counterclockwise, and there comes that. One thing for sure is there's a lot of dirt that I think I'm going to have to wipe off. There's a lot of dirt. So I'm going to stuff a little paper towel in there, and then I'm going to, that way when I'm cleaning the dirt off, nothing falls into the motor, because you don't want that. So let's get that cleaned up first. Got 1 quart measured up. Here we go. And I just spin the valve on the bottom and let her eat. Before we go any further, I want to get it off of the ramps here, so that way the engine's at normal level, and then let it run for, I don't know, two-ish minutes. Then we'll shut it off, let it sit for 2 minutes, and then we're going to check the oil level and see where we're at then. Alright, now I got the car on level ground. I had it running for just about 30 seconds. I guess that's really all it really needs to run for, not 2 minutes, about 30 seconds. Just get it sloshed around in there, get the new oil filter filled up, all the oil moved around. And now we're going to let it sit for about 2 minutes, so that way all the oil can trickle back down into the pan, and then we'll do our check. And we are in the safe zone. Might not be able to see it, but we are right here. And I'm willing to say I'm going to put about a half a quart in more. And that should take us up to about there, towards the top of the safe zone. All right, we'll check it one more time. All right, that's what I want to see. We are right there, right on the top of the safe zone, so that is perfect. So I gotta say, I don't know why O'Reilly's told me to add 4 quarts. That was kind of interesting. And in my book here, it says 4.5, and I ended up adding 5. So there you go. Guess it all depends on what your aspect is, but I guess a base rule is for the Jeep Patriot, add 4.5, and then just see where you're at after that. So in my case, I needed to add an extra half a quart, so I put in the full 5. So just keep that in mind. All right, so the last thing we need to do is reset the oil change light on the dash. First thing we got to do is put the car in the run position. So that's the click just before you turn it on and all your dash lights come up. And you look down here and you take your accelerator pedal. 1, 2, 3. And then shut it off. Okay, and now we're going to stick the key back in and go back to the run position. And it should not come back this time. I'd say that's cleared to me. So the last thing I need to do is my waste oil that is in here. I'm just going to take a funnel and I'm just going to put it in that jug. Well, because I used all 5 quarts of mine, doesn't mean you're going to use all 5 quarts of yours. If you got another, like a milk jug or something laying around, if you got nice fresh oil in there, you might want to keep that in your Jeep for when you need that for the fresh oil. But anyway, I used all 5 quarts, so this is empty. I put that in there, and an auto parts store like O'Reilly's, Advance, Napa, I think they all take it all. They'll take your waste oil for free. Just give it to them. I believe there's a limit on it. I think you can only take 1 5-quart jug there at a time. But either way, hey, it's really easy. Just put that in there and take it over there and you're done. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of American Made Classics. I hope you got what you came for. And if you did, that's great. If it helped you, please leave a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that as well. And if you'd like to see some of my other videos, my normal content is of the AMC brand, like my 69 Rebel here, my Maz 71 Gremlin. I got my 76 Hornet over here that I recently went drag racing with, so that was pretty fun. And I got another video of that coming out, hopefully within a month or so. Got a lot of footage to go through. I put a locker in the back, and just mainly for the drag racing, so I could get better traction, and left a bunch of rubber on the side, so that's cool. So yeah, check those videos out if you'd like, and consider subscribing if you want to see more of that. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.